It is now my pleasure to introduce today's student speaker, Miriam Rayward. In just a few moments, Miriam will be receiving her MA in International Policy Studies with a focus on conflict resolution. In addition to being a certified mediator, Miriam is one of the Institute's many multilinguists. Growing up in Spain, she became fluent in Spanish and English, and while here in Monterey, she has focused on building her skills in Arabic. She also applied for and received the Catherine Davis Fellowship for Peace, which enabled her to participate in the Middlebury Summer Intensive Arabic Language Program, and also received the U.S. State Department's Critical Language Scholarship to study Arabic in Morocco this past summer. More recently, she was awarded a Boren Fellowship, which will fund her IPSS experience in Jerusalem next semester. Miriam told us that she owes a great deal of her success to her family's inspiration and unconditional support, especially her mother, Jennifer, whose strength, courage, and hard work have inspired Miriam all her life. She also wanted to thank her siblings, Nadia, Yusuf, and Omar, and the rest of her family, friends, and professors for always encouraging her to do her best. Finally, she told us that she wanted to thank the Monterey Institute for helping her to move one step closer to achieving her goals. To which I can only say, no, Miriam, thank you for choosing the Monterey Institute and for sharing your perspective on your experiences here in Monterey with all of us on this very special day.
Thank you, President Ramaswamy. Picture this. It is sometime in 1948. You're young, very young. It is just another ordinary day in your ordinary life. You probably would not remember this day if it wasn't for the fact that it was going to have an impact on the rest of your life. You're in your house with your family. You're listening to the radio and the transmission is suddenly interrupted to give an important message. The announcement begins. Arab troops are going to enter Palestine to liberate the Palestinians from the Jewish invasion. The voice on the radio is encouraging all Palestinians in the neighboring areas to leave their houses for their own safety. This includes your family. Your family packs and leaves your house. This is the last time you will ever see your house. What I've just asked you to imagine is my father's story. Even though his is a story of success, there are many lessons that can be learned from this. This, by the way, is an account that he was told by his parents. Here's how the story continues. After leaving their house, there were buses waiting for all of the Palestinians to take them to the closest borders. My father's family went first to Lebanon and then to Syria. He grew up in Damascus, and although he says he had a good refugee experience there, his experience and his standards are far different than what we're used to. When his family first arrived in Syria, they had no place to stay, and mosques were taking in families like my dad's. Blankets were used to give privacy to each family, but the conditions were less than optimal. As young as he could, he went out on the streets and started selling whatever he could to bring whatever money home to his family. He was the second of 10 siblings, so he had to help his family economically as much as he could. Let's fast forward a few years to when he graduated high school. Having worked for all of those years, he realized the limitations of staying in Syria. And he also discovered that if he moved to a more developed country, he would have better opportunities, and so would his family. His goal was to make something out of his life. He did not want to live limited by the conditions that he was born into. He refused it. He did so in order to move forward with his life, in order to provide his family with as many opportunities as he could, opportunities he never had. At the age of 19, my dad moved to Sevilla, Spain, and he became a doctor there. He later found a job in Madrid and in a hospital where he worked as much as he could. He would show up early to his shifts and cover for any doctor that couldn't make it to his. He was hungry for work. Sometimes we complain about how much work we have to do or the things that we need to do to get by. What we don't realize is that we live in a life of privilege. Of course, we need to work, but we could pretty much find a job just to get by and carry on with our lives. However, that is not the reason why we chose the Monterey Institute of International Studies. We chose this school because we want our work to be meaningful. We want to work so that injustices cease to occur. We want to work so that all of the pain and suffering that people like my father and his family went through don't happen. We also want to work to prevent other disasters from happening. Now let me go back to my father's story and finish it. After he worked so hard for so many years and kept on working and working, he became one of the best doctors in his specialty. He would never let me say he's the best, even though I think so. There are many lessons that can be learned from his story, but the one that I would really like for you to take away from it is that life is not easy. But with a clear goal in mind and with a lot of hard work, anything is possible. Now think about this. If this is what my father was able to do in the circumstances that he was in, what are we capable of doing given our privileged circumstances? We are so fortunate to have been blessed with the resources necessary to come to MIIS and enjoy this opportunity. Not only that, but we also have received the support and inspiration of our fellow classmates, our friends, and professors to make a significant difference in our respective fields. From the translators and the interpreters whose language skills will help bridge the communication gap that is the basis of any human relationship, to the language teachers who will offer opportunities to share and understand the different cultures, to terrorism and non-proliferation students who will work to improve and maintain world security, to MBA students who will use their business and management skills to develop business models to help with global challenges that we're facing, to the policy students who, through their own areas of specialization and in their different fields, will help develop policies and will work with and develop organizations that will deal with the world's most pressing problems. We all have it in us to do something great with our careers. We all have people in our lives that have inspired us, like my father has inspired me. But there are also key moments and experiences that we have lived which have led us to be where we are today. We need to draw from these inspirational stories to keep moving forward. We're at a crucial point in our lives right now, about to take the next step into our professional careers, and we need to do this with conviction. Each one of us has the potential to make a difference. We all do. The key formula to achieving success, that is, changing the world, consists of a dream, a great amount of passion, and hard work. Being here today means we have dreams and we're passionate enough to pursue them. We have come to the Monterey Institute to find the tools that will help us move forward. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, don't get me wrong, but we have a great advantage. We've been given the opportunity to do something meaningful for the rest of the world. Now let's take this opportunity. Let's take it and make the very best of it. I'm convinced that if each of us does work that is significant to us and to the communities that we choose to work with, not only will the work that we do satisfy us personally, but we will also contribute to making the world a better place. Now join me in moving forward with our lives and taking the next step into our professional careers and making something meaningful of it. Like my mom used to tell me growing up, you can do it. Congratulations, class of 2010.